Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, say good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome to the show. The A-Train Anthony Harbin is our producer today. Piggly Wiggly Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. We come to you from the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show with service of Piggly Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting service provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor on Virginia Street in Charleston. Tony with a whole lot of these fall truck shows. Complete list of available, bestmastertaylor.com, or check him out on Facebook. Wednesday edition of the show, finally getting that rain that we need. Could be some severe weather later, though. We hope that's not the case. We want the rain, we just don't need the winds and so on and so forth that goes along with it. Told you yesterday that there is a new school board member in Kanawha County, Michael Arbogast, named to replace Tracy White on the board at a meeting that was held at GW on Monday night. We'll talk to Mr. Arbogast a little later on in the show, as well as the board president, Ric Cavender. They're both going to join us in the studio this morning. Plus, there's several things in the news. And yes, Jimmy Kimmel returned last night. I really thought I was going to be able to not talk about Jimmy Kimmel. But it's what everybody's talking about, and that's what you got to do. Plus, we'll take your calls and texts too. Piggly Wiggly Hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Let's welcome now to the show Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing fine. Thank you for being here. Quick story that I mentioned yesterday. I thought, Ben, that was kind of funny. Someone incorrectly stated on the Metro News social media page that you were the owner of Metro News. So you're saying now that's not the case?
You mean someone posted something on social media that isn't true?
Well, it happens. That's
never happened before.
It happens from time to time.
I am not the owner, but I did when you sent that to me. My response was, I'm giving all of my Metro News employees a 50% pay raise, except I have no Metro News employees.
So it's a good idea in theory. No, it was a mistake somebody made that they thought that that you were the owner. Of
I used to be a
company.
shareholder in HD Media, and I think that was the confusion. And then when I ran for governor in 2019, I divested of my shares. So.
You had enough of media in that few short years, right?
Yeah. Well, growing up, my parents had a little small, they had this little advertising paper down in Raleigh County that covered all of southern West Virginia. And so, my mom used to type that up on a typewriter, like back in the day before there were computers. She would type it up on a typewriter, and then we would just basically copy it and then circulate it all over southern West Virginia. So I was involved in that, long before. I used to go and deliver papers and do all that when I was 7 years old.
All right, and you had enough of it then. You said, I'm done with this.
I was like, I'm not doing this ever again.
Okay. They're working on the lights in the studio here, just so you know. I mean, the people at home, it doesn't affect at all. But just so you know, Ben Salango is completely in the dark. I'm always in the dark, but you're really in the dark right now. So
it's mood lighting.
I'm going to presume that you're over there. Okay?
I'm here somewhere.
Okay. All right. I did want to have a little fun with that. And also, I did want to bring up the fact that Sunday was brutal for us Cowboys fans, was it not?
Yeah, the bad part about football, so I'm a WVU Mountaineer fan. I went to school there, undergrad and law school, and then I'm a Cowboys fan. And so you go the week before, WVU beats Pitt, the Cowboys beat the Giants, and I'm having a great week. Like, I could not be in a better mood. And then fast forward, and the Mountaineers lose and the Cowboys lose. So it's tough to be a Cowboy and a Mountaineer fan.
Well, here's what I would suggest to you. Instead of buying Metro News, how about you buy the Cowboys a secondary? That would be really good. Because that one pass And you and I were texting during the game about this. That one pass that Caleb Williams threw on the flea flicker, which I think was in the second quarter, guy caught it out of the air like a punt return. I mean, it was like he was just standing around waiting on it. I mean, there was nobody within like 30 yards of him, and that's the kind of balls that players drop because they're just so easy.
I think I could have run that route.
I mean, it was, and now CD's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and terrible. So on and so forth.
Terrible. So, it's not going to be a good season.
It's not going to be a good season. All right, let's talk about something a little bit more positive. Politics.
Oh boy.
No. Actually, I did want to ask you. There's something that I've heard a little bit about the Kanawha County Law Enforcement Training Center. So. You're saying I might finally get that opportunity to be a cop now? Is that what you're saying?
We hope so. I'd love you to go out there and try it. It's
55-year-old cops. There's a big market for them.
Hey, if you can do the job. So what we've done, we've been working on this for a couple of years. Commissioner Wheeler and I, now Commissioner Tennant, and we've been working with Sheriff Crawford. Right now, the shooting range at Camp Virgil Tate is in disrepair. In fact, I think it's probably unsafe, parts of it, because there's a slip that's happening, so you've got part of the shooting range that's kind of falling over the hill. Not a good idea to have weapons and slide over a hill.
What could go wrong?
So we've been looking at creating a new. It's going to be more than a shooting range. We're going to call the Kanawha County Law Enforcement Training Center, because there's a lot more than just target practice that goes on out there. So we are going in. We're going to vote on this Thursday. I'm very optimistic that it will pass. It's going to be about a $2 million facility. And it's going to have a 300-yard long gun range. Right now, we're capped at about 100 to 150 yards. So we're going to put in a 300-yard long gun range. And we're going to put in a covered, not completely indoor, but a covered pistol range, and also where our deputies and other law enforcement agencies can go out and train in real-type scenarios. We'll bring cars out. We actually do have a car out there now, and we substitute the windshields out. So they will train shooting from outside into a car and from inside the car. Sometimes these deputies and law enforcement have to shoot from inside their own car.
Yeah.
That changes the trajectory of the bullets. It changes everything. So they practice it. And we've got a contract or an agreement with a local windshield company. When they replace a windshield and there's a crack, they bring it over and we put it into the car, and that's how they train. But we'll be able to do that in a covered setting now. It's going to be a lot better. So we'll be able to have more agencies training. We've got about 42 agencies. People don't know this. Like, agencies from all over come to Kanawha County to train. The FBI trains there. I'm looking at the news now. ICE, got some issues with ICE right now. They train there. We've got a lot of agencies that come out there. A lot of municipalities come out. So this is going to be great. It's going to be an upgraded facility, and part of it will be covered. And that's what's going to be on the agenda.
And you're going to vote on this on Thursday night.
We'll vote on Thursday. We think it's going to be about $2 million. We're hoping that we can avoid as many to put it in the new parts in the places where there aren't slips.
Okay.
Because anytime you start dealing with retaining walls and concrete,
well, you're dealing with Mother Nature to a certain extent on that. So.
Price goes way up, but it is that area does get a lot of water. It's kind of in a valley, so you're going to have to deal with that. But that's what we're looking at.
And explain exactly where it is again, in case people tuned in late.
Camp Virgil Tate. It's currently at the shooting range. They go out there and they train for different scenarios. We have I call it a house, but it's not really a house. It's like a concrete structure that has rooms inside, so law enforcement can go and train as if they're inside of a house. And one of the things that I am hoping to do is maybe at some point we can open up certain times to the public, like for paintball or for youth training classes. I'd love to be able to have some of the law enforcement train kids on proper shooting technique, proper handling of weapons, the things that, I grew up, my dad teaching me, you never point a gun, always point it in a safe direction, those types of things. You only shoot when you know exactly where you're shooting. Those types of things, maybe we can do that at this facility. I can't promise it'll be.
Do our schools, and again, I don't have kids, so I'm kind of ignorant on this. Do our schools have shooting teams? I mean, because I know some schools do.
I know, and I think there are archery teams, but
I know
I'm
there's
not
archery.
Aware of Western University. Obviously,
they're one of the best in the nation year after year.
Won the national championship again. I think 20 years or something. We won it. But
could this be a facility, Commissioner? Could this be a facility that maybe you mentioned the WVU rifle program, that maybe they could have a meet
that'd
down
be
there
great. Absolutely.
at some point?
I think at the 300-yard level in particular, we'll be able to do things like that. And I'm not familiar with, that's like a different level.
Sure, yeah.
I go out, I typically go down to Kanawha State Forest and shoot, but this is something that I think will bring other agencies in to stay in Kanawha County and train there. But I also want to do everything we can to make it more accessible to the public. I mean, obviously I don't want law enforcement out there training while the public.
Sure, yeah.
But we want to be able to try to open this up to the extent we can so people can come out. Particularly, I want to focus on training youth.
So if the commission passes this on Thursday evening during the meeting, you're very hopeful that it will be passed. Do you have any idea of a time frame yet? I mean, loosely.
First thing we'll do is we'll get a very comprehensive design together.
Yeah.
I mean, we know generally what it's going to look like in our heads, but we want to make sure that smarter people than us go in and do the design. And then we'll need to clear, about 300 yards for the new long gun range. And I think that's going to take a little bit of time. But my goal is to have it done within a year.
Okay.
We have the funds set aside. Obviously, we're going to apply for some grants because we've got a lot of federal agencies that use this facility. Hopefully, they'll be willing to chip in. I
don't know why, if they've got the funds, I don't know why they wouldn't, because it's just going to be a win-win for everybody.
I think so too. But I think they will. But so far we haven't asked. But what we've done is we will earmark some money, even if we don't get any contributions, because I want to make sure that the Kanawha County deputies and all of our municipalities can use it and go out there and train. And I think they're really going to like this new facility. It's going to be much safer. It's going to be covered. It'll just be much, much better.
Talking with Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. It's a podcast promoting healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetroNews.com, under the podcast menu. All right, so lots going on in the county. First fall cleanup happened last week at the old Hoover High School, and I think the next one's going to be in South Charleston coming up in October.
Yeah,
October 4th.
Our fall cleanups are probably, people wait in line to bring things out there, and we started doing that years ago because we noticed that if you don't collect the tires, if you don't collect the the various things, they end up in creeks, right, and they end up in culverts, and so we started doing that. And it's been very, very successful. And so we're going to continue doing that as long as we can. There's the cost of it is going up significantly, but we want to keep doing that because that's how we keep, thousands and thousands of tires out of creeks and rivers.
Yeah. What else is going on in the world of county commission business? I had somebody ask me, now I know this is more of a city of Charleston thing, but okay, you guys are, you guys work hand in hand on things. I had somebody in the office ask me today if you've heard anything about the municipal auditorium.
No, and that is squarely within the city. I think I've chatted with the mayor once or twice about it, but it's not something that the county deals with. But I know that the good thing is we've got a good mayor that thinks about this stuff all the time. It's not like she ever turns her brain off. She's the one that will wake up at 2 a.m. with an idea and then call or text somebody.
And I was going to say, then call somebody and tell them about it.
Yeah, and so, she's out all the time. I tell this story. I dropped my car off at Firestone to get an oil change, and it was like I always get to work early. I'm usually in the office by 6 or 6:30, but I dropped my car off around 5:45, and I was walking down Capitol Street, and it was raining. It was dark, and this person yelled, "Commissioner Salango!" And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go. This is where I meet my end.
This is it."
And lady comes running up to me, and it was the mayor, and she was out with the CARES team, talking to people, talking to some of the folks that are on the street, trying to figure out where they're from, getting family information, trying to reunite them with their families. But she goes out and does that. And I offered her an umbrella, and she said no. And then she disappeared into the darkness. So she is a hands-on.
Are you sure she was actually
mayor.
there?
She was there, unless I was hallucinating. It was early.
All right, Mr. Ben. Anything on Capitol Sports Complex? Always, it's the obligatory question.
Yeah.
Anything on that? So
I check my email every single day, hoping that we get an earmark, and we've put in a request the city has and the county has. I know that our U.S. senators know how important this is. Senator Capito, she's been great to Kanawha County, and Senator Justice as a senator and also as governor he gets what we're trying to do. He understands it, but that doesn't mean it can always happen. Even if they put in the request, even if they argue for it or fight for it, it doesn't always happen because you're dealing with 49 other states and everybody wants something, right? So we're optimistic. So we're just kind of watching it. I think if that's kind of the final piece of the puzzle, but if it doesn't happen this year, perhaps it happens next year. But we're going to keep fighting for it, keep trying to make it happen. Ultimately, before I die, that place is going to be there.
Okay. Well, and I hope it's not at the hands of a figure at 5:30 in the morning.
Right, 5:30 on Capitol Street. Hopefully not.
You want to stick around and help Stephanie work on the lights?
Absolutely.
You're a handy guy.
No, I can't even program. I had to call my son the other day because my remote control on the TV stopped working, and so now I just go to YouTube or Chat GPT.
Okay,
and figure it all out. You want me to take a picture of that on Chat GPT and ask it how to fix it?
Well, they're working on it because this show's not on camera, so now's the time they have to work.
Right.
Where they work on it. So
right.
I don't know that one. I think we could fry bacon under that one, man.
I need all the soft lighting I can get. I'm getting old.
All right, Kanawha County Commissioner President Ben Salango, appreciate you being here. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Jute, J-O-O-T Security Systems. Visit protectedbyjute.com or check them out on Facebook. We have a serious story. It's a national story here. We're kind of monitoring it here in ABC News. We'll have more at the top of the hour. Apparently, 3 people have been shot at a ICE facility in Dallas. And so we don't know anything more about it at this time. We're monitoring it right now. ABC News will have more on it at the top of the hour, but apparently at least 3 people have been shot at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas, and Network News will have more on that coming up at the top of the hour. We'll take a break. We're going to introduce you to the new member of the Kanawha County Board of Education and an older member. He's not old, but he's been there for a while. Ric Cavender's here, also Mike Arbogast, the new member of the Kanawha County Board coming up. We'll take a break. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. We'll always be here for you.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Poca Valley Bank has a new name. We are now simply Poca Valley, and here is why we're changing. Our place in the community goes beyond banking. While we still provide the finest in banking services, we also bring excellence in wealth management and financial planning, accounting, and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for the future or managing today, we offer the expertise you need. With 8 convenient locations, we're here to help you thrive. Discover the difference at Poca Valley. Relationships matter. Member FDIC.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Welcome back to the show. It's 9:25. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Their services involve developing comprehensive management plans to outline strategies for controlling and minimizing asbestos exposure. Perfect for commercial property owners and managers. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. Bigly, Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. Monday's LSI meeting at GW. Kanawha County Board of Education named Mike Arbogast as the new member of the board here in Kanawha County, as he will be replacing Tracy White. He joins us in studio along with Ric Cavender, Board President. How you doing, Mr. Cavender?
Doing well, sir. How you been?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Arbogast, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Mike and I go back a few years when I was in state government. And I used to go to South Charleston High School and do voter registration drives.
Okay.
So,
yes, sir. We were big on that.
Very big on that.
Yes.
Very big on that. All right, so I'm going to start with you, and then, Rick, I'm going to bring you in to talk about some other things going on the board. And you can jump in at any time you want. So you've been around the school system, Mike, for a while now.
Yes, sir. 40 years. It's hard to believe that. I actually got hired when I was 19 years old as a teacher aide, and I worked myself through college at night and went in summertime, finally graduated and started teaching and coaching at the Dunbar Junior High School, and eventually went to South Charleston High School as a basketball coach and golf coach and taught there in 1990. Became an athletic director there, vice principal, and then finally principal of school in 2007 and stayed there till 2018.
So what was it that made you want to go into education to begin with? And your story is really unique because, as you said, you started as an aide and worked your way up. But what was it that appealed to you about education in general?
You know, it's funny you say that because I can remember being in sixth grade, believe it or not, Mrs. Dodd's class. I remember her vividly. She was a great influential teacher for me, but I remember it was pouring the snow outside and I felt so warm and safe in there. And I thought, you know what, I'd really like to be a teacher. And then of course I was an athlete, not a great athlete, but I played sports and I wanted to get into coaching. And I think, lastly, my father was a principal in Kanawha County Schools. He was principal at Nitro High School and later Dunbar Junior High School. And my mom was an elementary teacher. She ended up getting lymphoma in her 30s when I was 7 years old, and she passed early. But so education's been always in my life, that background, and I have no regrets. I have enjoyed every day of my career and building relationships with kids and teachers, and I've enjoyed the ride.
Was being on the board something that you maybe when you were a teacher or when you were in the system and you thought, well, maybe this is something I'd like to do? What made you make that decision?
Yeah, not really. I never had that thought before. I'm not a politician. I'm an educator. I had several, and Tracy was one of my parents, and I think she's a great person. I've known her and Jerry for a long time because I had the kids in school, and she's not replaceable.
Yeah, you said that in a quote I read from you. You said, "I'm not replacing Tracy White."
Yeah, she's her own person. I'm my own person. I have a great deal of respect for Tracy, and like I say, I think the world of her. But, I got several phone calls saying, you might be ideal for this. And I've seen on social media where people said, hey, it's a conflict of interest because he's in education. And I thought, why would you not want an educator on the Board of Education? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be on a learning curve. I get that. I'm going to have to depend heavily on Rick and the other board members to, help guide me through what's going on. But I do understand procedure and processes of the Board of Education because I've been in the trenches for so long. And I feel like I want to be able to come in and complement what these people are doing. Personally, I think we have a good Board of Education right now in Kanawha County Schools, and I have continued to pay attention to that, after retirement. Mm-hmm. I think they've been financially responsible. They've had to make tough decisions. I get it. We got a decline enrollment. Funding's different. The formula changes all the time, and I think they've made great hires. I think the world of Dr. Potter. She was my vice principal when I was athletic director at South Charleston, so I had a working relationship with her as well.
Rick, let me bring you in. Ric Cavender, the president of the Kanawha County Board of Education. What do you see in this guy over here?
Well, Mike, this is Mike. You're Dave.
I'm Dave. Still.
I haven't had coffee yet.
And plus it's the lights going off on here too.
No, Dave. So, what is really important for a really well-rounded Board of Education in any county is that the members represent a diverse background. And it is as important as it is to have educators on the board, it's important to have other perspectives. So right now we have an attorney on the board. We have someone in social work. We have a former educator. Now we have another former educator. And, of course, I've been in the nonprofit sector for the past 18 years.
And whatever it is that you do.
Whatever it is that I do every day. Yeah. But business development is really, my focus. But, from my perspective, it's really important that we have that, as Mike just pointed out, that person who has been in the trenches for so long, who understands the system itself here in Kanawha County, who has already built all of those really important relationships over the past 40 years, and understands the challenges, understands the successes, and the ins and outs of the system. And so, when we were going through this process, it became really evident quickly that, Mike was definitely the best choice for what we need right now here in Kanawha County.
if you're wondering why Dale Cooper is sitting beside you, he's playing a model right now because they're working on the lights and they needed a body to sit there, and so they go to management and find somebody that wasn't doing anything. I'm kidding. It's the hardest working man in the building right here. I'm kidding. And plus, he's my boss. So I have to,
So I have to say that.
So I have to.
You're obligated.
So, Mike, let me go back to you just for a moment. What's when you were named to this position Monday evening? That's when your name was brought up, and you are officially now on the board, right?
Well, I have to be sworn.
You've got to be sworn in. Okay, so that's got to happen.
Yes, sir.
All right, but what are some of your areas of focus going to be? I always ask I know you said you're not a politician, but I always ask.
It's okay.
I always ask political people, like, what's the thing you want to hit the ground running on? And of course, you have to work within the confines of the other board members and the superintendent as well. But everybody's always got something that's I'd like to see if we can get something done about this. And is there certain areas that you're looking at, Mike?
I'm all about kids. I have been my whole life. I think we need to continue to focus on providing a world-class education for our students. They're going to be contributors in society once they get out of high school, and continue to build those relationships. I'm a great supporter of teachers. I have seen the most talented people that I've ever met in my life that are in schools teaching. They didn't do this to get rich, and the criticism they take sometimes is unfair because there are really great teachers out there. Are all of them perfect? No, they're not. I'm not perfect. I made tons of mistakes during my tenure as a teacher and coach and a principal, but and some of them need to be brought along. I get that. But here again, I think a focus on what we're doing in the classrooms to prepare our students for an ever-changing world is greatly important. I also think that I personally want our kids not only to be contributors to society, but I want them to have success and enjoy life. And I used to tell my kids at the high school that all the time. Not everybody's going to be an attorney or a doctor, but you can still find your niche, pursue that, pursue your dreams, pursue your passion, and here again, pursue happiness in life.
Talking again with Mike Arbogast, who's the new member, or will be when he's officially sworn in on the Kanawha County Board of Education. Also, Board President Ric Cavender is here. Mike and Rick, you can weigh in on this as well. It's been a difficult, not just in Kanawha County, but across the state of West Virginia and really across the country. It's difficult times in the world of public education because there's a lot of different options now, and there's all these different homeschooling, and there's all these different things, and it's a challenging time, for public education across this country right now.
It is. I'm all in favor of parents doing what's right for their kids. And quick homeschool story, I always opened up my school to homeschool parents. They would come to me and say, Mike, I can't do trigonometry or I can't do physics. Can I enroll my child here for one class a day? And every time I was like, yeah, absolutely. And it was almost like they were surprised by that. But here again, I'm about kids. I'm about trying to help people to grow and prosper in life. And so I would pick them up and they would participate in the class. And when they were done with it, a lot of times they'd end up saying, hey, I want to go ahead and go to school here. And they'd come in with us and stay full time. And other times we drop them from our roles. And
I didn't know you could do that.
I did it. Maybe Rick's going to get on me about that, but I will tell you that, they did count against my dropout rate. So you look at that formula and say, well, they had a 8% dropout rate at their school. Well, I had 5 homeschool kids in there taking the class that counted against me at the time. But that's another story for another day. But and I think the State Department actually has looked into that, and I'm not sure that that's still the policy it is now. So here again, when I say that, I do support all kids, and I support parents' rights to, you raise your child the way you want to raise your child, and I'm going to respect that. I might not agree with everything that happens, but I'm going to respect it and do everything I can to help. But back to the challenging times I know, by and large, I am anti-consolidation, but I am pro-taxpayer dollars, and, we got a decline in enrollment. And we have a declining population here in the Valley, and I know there's going to be challenges and hard decisions have to be made, and I'm not sure that's not really on the table, I don't think, right now, but I'm just saying I think this Board of Education, as hard as those decisions are to make, I think they've been financially responsible and had to make some tough decisions that certainly not everybody's going to be happy with.
And look, I don't think anybody in the world of education wants to close schools, wants
Correct.
to consolidate schools.
I agree.
I mean, you'd like to leave every one of them open if you could.
Well, Dave, and we've talked about this before here on the show over the past couple of years. We're facing two challenges as a state here. We our declining population, as Mike just pointed out, as we've talked about several times, and we don't see that changing. And we're also seeing a shift in the view of public education at the state level. As far as our lawmakers are concerned, and what's happening there, and we as county boards are sort of constantly challenged to make the best decisions we possibly can within the confines of our space in the county, right? And unfortunately, to your point about consolidations, we never want to see that happen. But declining population, it dictates that, unfortunately. As far as the other options that have been presented to parents and students outside of public education, we can't control that either. I have my opinions on it. It really doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. But we as a board have to take those challenges and do the absolute best we can with it. I can tell you with our rock star superintendent, Dr. Paula Potter, and her incredible leadership and her leadership team, and all the wonderful administrators and teachers we have in this county, I can tell you Kanawha County offers a world-class education. I'll venture to say that we also are setting a standard for the rest of the state on how we not only operate as a board, but how we provide the education to our students. At the end of the day, we're responsible for creating the future's workforce, right? And that's why I got interested in running 8-9 years ago, was because of the work that I do every day in helping build small business here in the Charleston area, realizing how close that ties to public education and making sure that a quality education will lead to, as Mike pointed out, shaping and molding, the future members of society that they can contribute back to society, but also experience success themselves and make our state, make our region better. So it becomes a bigger challenge when we're seeing population decline and when we're seeing so many other options presented to parents and students that are outside of public education. But I'm very confident that we still offer the best option for making sure that we're preparing our workforce for the future.
And we talked about consolidation a little bit earlier, and I will say one of the schools has got a new name. They decided the name last week. We have Country Roads Elementary School. That was chosen by, you may not have been on the exactly how they did it, but that was chosen by the public, right?
That community. So they based it 50% on the student vote and 50% on the community and parent vote.
And this is in the DuPont City.
The 4 elementary schools that we had to vote to consolidate in the eastern part of the county last year.
Yeah.
And so
and so the elementary school will be called Country Roads
Elementary School. Yeah.
And do they have a nickname yet? Because
like a mascot or
mascot.
I don't think so. They'll choose that as well. They choose that fully. We have to vote. They bring the name to us after they went through the process, and then we vote as a board to approve it. And of course, we voted for what they wanted. So no, I think it's great. And that builds spirit in that community, right? It gives them buy-in and builds spirit in that community, and I'm really excited to see what happens out there.
Stephanie, one of our producers, suggested that they call them the John Denvers.
The John Denvers, okay.
Yeah. And then
wonder what that mascot. The mascot would just be a big John Denver.
And who was I? I interviewed somebody on there that said we call them the Mountain Mamas. I said, well, I don't know that a 10-year-old boy is going to want to be playing for the Mountain Mamas.
Mamas, right?
So, I don't know. There's all kinds of things that could go wrong with that. Mike, you're a sports guy. You know all about that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike. I got a text here that says my daughter and son both graduated South Charleston 2012 and 2013. Mike was so great to the kids and to the parents. He's blunt and straight and to the point when speaking. Reminds me of the late Pete Thaw. Oh. That's what the texter said.
Well, I appreciate that vote of confidence, and I actually had a good working relationship with Mr. Thaw, and I'm going to do the best I can. This is the first time I've ever personally met Rick, by the way. I don't know what's out there. I haven't seen it, but I am looking forward to working with this board. I'm sure I'm not going to be perfect. I'm sure I'll have to make decisions that doesn't please everybody. But you know what? Same kind of deal with being a principal. I had to make decisions that I thought was best for the masses and the best for our students and our teachers, and we move forward from it. and we can have a disagreement with mutual respect, and I'm okay with that.
That's one thing that we've always talked about as far as our board is concerned, is that, as you've seen, we've not always had a 5-0 vote on everything. We've never not always agreed on every single vote that comes our way. And I don't know,
Rick, that it's always, some things are going to be obvious.
Sure.
I don't know that you want to have 2 or 3 years of straight 5-0 votes.
Right. And it's good to get those different perspectives and opinions, and it's good sometimes for the public to see that we're not always going to all agree on everything, but we, no matter what, we're a very professional board, and we always respect each other. At the end of the meeting, we move on and we go to the next thing. And that's one aspect of this board service that I've always been proud of is the fact that no matter if we do agree or not, we're going to respect each other. But again, a lot of that comes with the leadership of the superintendent and the working relationship we have with the superintendent, and letting her lead this county, and with our advice as a board, but we put that trust in the superintendent to lead the day-to-day operations of this system. And again, we may not always agree, but we always respect one another.
Ric Cavender, Mike Arbogast, I appreciate you both being here. I'll leave you with this. I think I've told Rick the story before. My cousin was the board president in Logan County, and he told me one time, he said, I think everybody should have to serve on the Board of Education like jury duty, because then you'll get to see what it's like.
Rotate us out, right? I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but I'm excited to give it a shot. We'll see how
I'm sure you'll do good things. All right, Mr. Cavender, always a pleasure to have you here, and Mike, good to see you again.
Thanks,
and
yes,
you'll be sworn in
this week, right?
This week.
I think it's the 6th.
The October 6th, it will be the ceremonial swearing in. We do, we have an official swearing in that happens beforehand, and then that we do a ceremonial swearing in. I think Mike's first meeting will be October 6th.
I'm going to show up when they tell me, Dave.
That's all you got to do, buddy. That's all you got to do. Just don't be tardy.
I will not be. I am on time.
All right. At 9:43, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. The Salango Law Light the Night returning to Go-Mart Ballpark November 21st through January 1st. Get your tickets in advance by visiting dblightthenight.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
The Dave Allen Show is presented in part by Generations Ford in Hurricane, part of the Eric J. Tarr family of businesses.
Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. But are you really ready? I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I help people just like you turn confusion into confidence. Whether retirement is 5 years away or right around the corner, now is the time to make a smart plan. Let's make sure your retirement income lasts as long as you do. Call today or visit 4thavenuefinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial. Retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCall Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCall Advisors Incorporated.
I'm John Carruthers, the owner of Best Virginia Heating and Cooling. I'm born and raised right here in West Virginia. I've got 3 daughters, so I absolutely care who comes into my home. Every technician we send to your home has been drug tested and background checked. I guarantee the best client experience or your money back. We have the best team and the best processes built around a 5-star experience. Call Best Virginia today at 681-655-1214.
Ready to score a touchdown with your retirement planning? Join the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group. We provide comprehensive guidance on retirement planning in West Virginia. With a playbook tailored to your goals, we'll guide you from the first down to the end zone. Whether you're starting your career or approaching the retirement goal line, we can help create a strategy for you. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to see how we can help make your retirement dreams a reality. Game on with the Stike team.
Welcome back to the show. 15 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. I don't think that people understand sometimes what school board members in any county have to go through. I mean, I've referenced the story of my cousin who was a school board president, and he would get phone calls midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning from people complaining about a certain teacher or complaining about who got cut from the cheerleading team or whatever. And all those things are important. But I'm sure Mr. Arbogast will do a great job. He's a quality educator. I'm sure he'll do a great job and got a great board. And it can be rough for some of these people out there as well. The Dave Allen Show here on WCHS is brought to you in part by the all-new Generations Ford of Hurricane. Visit generationsford.com I am so glad that the computer is lit up here, because with the computer being lit up, I can at least read text. Where, as I said, it's a work in progress on the lights in here. They're doing some stuff while I'm on the air, and that's okay. Text says, for all the belly aching from alleged adults on your show about how Jimmy Kimmel used to be funny, there's a great interview with Kimmel and Bill Burr where they basically realized that being adult men meant something more than what they were practicing, so they changed their path and chose to change. Maybe the angst-ridden MAGA man can learn a little from that. Grow up, there's a thought, take off the skirt and grow the F up. And they did not use the expletive. They actually spelled out EFF. So I appreciate that. So I wouldn't be tempted to accidentally read it on the air. Coming up later today, Metro News Midday, 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barrett and me. It's Wednesday, meaning we're going to introduce you to another wonderful West Virginian doing great things around the state. Fred Persinger is going to join us to talk Power Index and high school ratings. A return appearance from TJ Meadows, of course, Open Line West Virginia, and a story out of the Eastern Panhandle that Marcia Kovalik has been handling up there. Apparently, there were 3 bodies that were found up in, I think it was the Berkeley County area, and Marcia has been working on that story. Also, there was a serious highway incident up there, so she's going to join us to talk about that coming up a little bit later on the show. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, coming up noon to 3. On tomorrow's show, Dr. Casey Sachs of Bridge Valley is going to stop by and working on some news now from the Kanawha County Sheriff's Department. And just there's some things, nothing bad or anything like that, but I was having a conversation with Sheriff Joe Crawford a little bit earlier this morning, so I think we're going to try to get somebody on with some news out of the Sheriff's Department coming up on tomorrow's show. Text says, Dave, Salango for governor. He knows how to get things done, and it's all for the good of the people. Need his leadership statewide. I don't know. Ben and I are friends and fellow cowboy, sufferers. I don't know. I don't know what Mr. Salango's future plans are. We've never really discussed it. If I had to guess, I would say he's probably not done with public service. I mean, but I don't. I mean, I think he would like to get into the political arena at some point. Right now, he's Kanawha County Commission president, so I do not know, but I'm sure he appreciates the text. Text says, am I the only person who thinks Seth Rogen is in the studio when Dale Cooper laughs? He sounds just like him. I'll have to make sure Mr. Cooper sees that. Text says, Dave, did you see the... No, I'm not going to read that. Text said, imagine how much less challenging public education would be if one certain political party wasn't trying to defund and destroy it, says a texter. Texas Day, there's lots of talk about what to do about PEIA. I just received my notice of the 2026 plan, copays and charges. Most charges have doubled. This should help PEIA, says a texter. And we were talking about the new elementary school that's been chosen, this consolidated school. They've chosen the name. Members of the community and students and everybody worked on this, Country Roads Elementary. Don't think that they've named the mascot yet, and we have a recommendation for the Black Bears. That's not a bad choice, in my opinion. So I said I was done talking about the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, but it's turned into a story that simply will not go away. He returned to the air last night, but not locally, not here in Charleston. The local affiliate here, WCHS Television, which, by the way, no relation to us. We are not related in any way, shape, form, or fashion, to quote Senator Justice. We are not affiliated with them. They're not bad people. We're all friends with them. We just aren't related to them. So we're a totally different company. We share the call letters. We're radio, they're television. I say that because we've been getting quite a bit of phone calls here at the front desk, poor Tracy, about the Jimmy Kimmel situation and the Sinclair group of stations opting not to air the Jimmy Kimmel show, which they own, WCHS Television here in Charleston. But we have nothing to do with that. We've received Facebook messages, and it ain't us. That's not us. They're not bad people, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that coming up here in a couple of moments. The decision was made on a corporate level not to air the Kimmel show. It was not the decision of the local folks. So if you could, please stop harassing these people. It would be like, here's an example I came up with, and I'm pretty bad at coming up with analogies. It'd be like going into your local McDonald's and demanding that they make you a roast beef sandwich. Well, they don't sell roast beef sandwiches at McDonald's. And you wouldn't yell at the person behind the counter and say, I said make me a roast beef sandwich, because corporate won't allow it. It's that simple. So it's not the fault of the local station. They are owned by a much larger company called Sinclair that opted not to carry the show. Nexstar also opted not to carry the Jimmy Kimmel show. Nexstar does not own the station here in Charleston. They own another station, 13, which is totally unrelated to any of this. But I did want to point that out, that it's not the folks, it's not the fault of the folks that are locally. This was a corporate decision made by Sinclair, and calling and complaining to them locally is not gonna help. Your issue is with Sinclair. It's not with the local folks. As for the show itself, I didn't watch it, but I heard the audio on the radio driving in on the morning news. I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a good job of stating he did not mean to harm the memory of Charlie Kirk or his family. Good job there. And I believe him on that. Quote from Kimmel, though, a government threat to silence a comedian that the government doesn't like is anti-American. And, end quote, and I 100% would agree with that statement. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, pick up a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of 6 meatballs for $24.99. Dine in, delivery, or pick up. Check out HustonsPizza.com. We'll take a break. Be back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
It's time to transform your home with the perfect blend of style and function. From cozy carpet, stunning hardwoods, to custom, handcrafted cabinets, Nitro Carpet and Design Center has it all. Whether it's a kitchen revamp or a bathroom facelift, our expert design team will guide you every step of the way. Financing available. Visit us right off the interstate at New Goff Mountain Road in Cross Lanes. Nitro Carpet and Design Center, where your dream home becomes reality. Explore more at nitrocarpet.com.
Looking for unstoppable power? The Suzuki King Quad 750 is built to conquer Charleston's toughest terrain. Only at Trojan Landing Marine and Power Sports, your authorized Suzuki dealer. The Suzuki King Quad offers unmatched performance with electronic power steering, independent suspension, and rugged four-wheel drive.
Ride safe. ATVs are recommended only for riders ages 16 and older. Always wear a helmet and ride responsibly.
Call Trojan Landing today. Visit TrojanLanding.com for discounts or visit to explore new and unsold Suzuki King Quad models. Adventure awaits at Trojan Landing Marine and Power Sports.
Hi, I'm Matt Bainbridge. I'm a principal with CEC and the survey practice lead in West Virginia. My journey with CEC started as a staff consultant in 2014. From surveys to well-pad design, CEC has nurtured my growth. In 2015, they empowered me to build a remote sensing group, providing the resources to get the job done. The best part is with CEC's support, my career and retirement plans are secure. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit CECinc.com.
FanDuel's getting you ready for the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season's almost here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/stream to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Must be 21 plus and present in West Virginia. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net.
Regular price.
Welcome back to the show. We got about 6 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Text says, what if harassing the station employees gets the station employees to tell their bosses the people are harassing them because of their boss's decision? Well, we don't harass anybody. Don't be an ass. You just don't harass me. Now, if you want to call the station, and I would like, to wedge a complaint or whatever the case may be, but contact the folks at Sinclair, because they're the ones that made the decision. It's not the poor folks here locally. And again, we're all friends in this media game here in Charleston, so we try to take care of each other. And it's not, calling them is not going to do anything. If you're upset about it, reach out to the corporate office, because this is just not a thing on WCHS television in Charleston. This is at all of their stations and a lot of the Nexstar stations too. Our local Nexstar 13 is not part of this because they don't air Jimmy Kimmel, and we certainly don't have anything to do with it. So you can stop calling us and telling us about it, because we're not affiliated with them at all. Harass is a strong word to the texter. Lodge a complaint, fine, but do all you want here. It's not going to do any good. You got to go national. This is a story that Morgan Pemberton has posted at the website. A lawsuit has been filed on behalf of a female Charleston police officer against the city of Charleston and 3 of her male supervisors. The lawsuit was filed in Kanawha Circuit Court on September 19th. And I make the decision, me personally, not to mention any names in any suits like this. Now, you can read it on the website if you want, but that's just me being me. I don't release names. In the lawsuit, it's alleging sexual harassment and retaliation. The city of Charleston, along with some of these employees, are named as defendants. In the lawsuit, 3 supervisors, each named individually with allegations against them. One of these allegedly had reached out to the alleged victim in this case, asked her to participate in a trial period with the Charleston Police Department Criminal Investigation Division. This person accepted, was promoted to detective. 2 months later, the lawsuit went on to say that the accused, and there's 3, showed a disproportionate amount of attention. And again, you can read the entire story if you want to. I did reach out to the city of Charleston today, and also reached out to the Charleston Police Department. And as I figured would be the case, they declined comment upon advice of attorneys. 100% understood. I get that. This is an ongoing investigation. It's an ongoing suit. They cannot comment on it, but I just wanted you folks to know I did reach out to them. It was a very cordial conversation with the police chief, Scott Dempsey, and also other city officials. And they said, on the advice of attorneys, we can't talk about it right now. Completely 100% understood, but I would not be doing my due diligence if I did not at least try to get a comment from them, thank them, and said, have a great day. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. Insurance agents are in demand across the state and across the country. Bridge Valley can help you take the first step. Their insurance pre-sales licensure course prepares you to sit for the state-required property and casualty insurance licensure exam to start your career in this ever-growing and exciting field. Visit bridgevalley.edu for details. Bridge Valley Community Technical College, your career starts here. Dave, what is harassing? Can we define that? I mean, do you need me to define what harassing is? I could read to you if you want some of the messages that we got here on our Facebook page for WCHS, and I could read you some of those if you like, and a couple of them weren't pretty. And when we responded to them and said, we have nothing to do with WCHS television, most of the people then responded, okay, sorry, thank you, whatever, get that. Some of them weren't so nice, so yeah, don't. I know you explained this, but I still don't understand. Is WVRC Media affiliated with Nexstar Sinclair? No, absolutely not. We are not. We are not. We are a totally different company. We're not affiliated, and we're friends with them, but we're not. Dave, local Sinclair made a great decision in not airing Kimmel. All those late-night hosts need to be canceled. If I have a problem with Walmart, I'm going to sort of tell them. I'm not calling a number to listen to AI prompts to eventually fill out a form over the phone. That's what would happen calling the corporate office. Okay. You do you. All right, that's way too long. I can't read that one. All right, but I do appreciate it. Mr. Meadows, I don't even have time to talk to you today. Welcome to the Light Show, by the way. They're going off and they're going on. They're working on them. It's a work in progress.
It's great to be here.
He'll be coming up with the talk line. I'll see you later today on Midday. Until then, have fun and love somebody.